name is Saita, and today I'm going to talk about how pregnancy tests work. Behind all of those blue lines or maybe red lines, there's a lot of chemistry actually going on. When you start to get pregnant, your body will start to produce a hormone known as HCG. This hormone is the hormone that the pregnancy test wants to detect. The pregnancy test has 3 sites: the antibody site, the test site, and the control site. When you pee on the open side of the test strip, your pee will get drawn up the paper or whatever the material is by something known as capillary action. Your pee, we'll call it urine for simplification reasons. Your urine will get drawn up and go past the antibody site. When your HCG comes in contact with an antibody, by the way, this is a positive test. This is like a test that you are pregnant. For example, when your HCG comes in contact with antibodies, the antibodies will grab hold of that HCG, of a certain part of the HCG, and so will become an antibody HCG pair. Let's call it that for now. This antibody, however, has a special feature of its own. It holds a dye at its very end. This dye will become important later. When your urine carries those antibody HCG pairs all the way to the test site has a forest of antibodies waiting to grab hold of the HCG again. Once that antibody HCG pair comes in contact with this forest of antibodies, it will bind to that forest, and so it will create like a stick, and then split up, and then the dye at the very end. Once this dye has accumulated enough times, which means a lot of HCG antibody pairs have fused with the antibodies on the forest, the dye will build up to a level where it's actually visible with the naked eye. And so you see that first blue strip, or it could be red for some people. But there is still one final destination to this tour, and it is the control site. In the urine, there are still a lot of free-floating antibodies that haven't paired up with any HCG yet. So, those antibodies flow past the antibody forest in the test site and will go to the control site. The control site has an antibody forest similar to that of the test site, but these antibodies are not designed to grab onto HCG. They are designed to grab on to the free-floating antibodies in the urine. So, the free-floating antibodies will bind onto those antibodies in the antibody forest, and the dye will become even clearer as more antibodies bind and more and more and more, and that's how you get your second stripe. For all those mothers out there that already got the 2 stripes, the 2 blue stripes or the 2 red stripes, congratulations! You made the human population go up by 1 or 2 or 3 and maybe 4 in a rare occasion.